In 1962, audiences entered theaters expecting another Frank Sinatra thriller. What they got instead was a chilling prophecy wrapped in Cold War paranoia, The Manurion Candidate, a film so disturbingly timely that it vanished from circulation after President Kennedy's assassination. Director John Frankenheimer crafted a nightmare scenario, a brainwashed sleeper agent programmed to eliminate a presidential candidate, controlled by foreign powers through psychological manipulation. The plot seemed like pure fiction until the 1970s, when congressional investigations exposed the CIA's MKUltra program, real experiments in mind control that had been running since the early 50s. The film anticipated themes that would later be confirmed by these revelations. MKUltra's use of hypnosis, drugs, and psychological conditioning echoed the movie's central premise, though the program never produced a brainwashed assassin as depicted. Still, the parallels between fiction and reality were deeply unsettling. After JFK's assassination in November 1963, the film was quietly withdrawn. Some believe this was due to its uncomfortable similarities to real events, while others cite Sinatra's personal decision. The timing only fueled conspiracy theories that persist to this day. When The Manurion Candidate returned to theaters in 1988, critics were struck by its enduring relevance. The themes of foreign interference, political puppetry, and psychological warfare had evolved from Cold War fiction into modern anxieties, making Frankenheimer's thriller feel less like entertainment and more like a warning. Hollywood's crystal ball struck gold in 1949 when All the King's Men hit theaters, delivering a chilling portrait of political corruption that would prove unnervingly prophetic. Based on Robert Penn Warren's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel, the film chronicled the meteoric rise and spectacular downfall of Willie Stark, a charismatic populist governor whose hunger for power consumed everything in its path. The parallels to Louisiana's Huey Long were unmistakable. Long's own authoritarian reign had ended with his assassination in 1935, just 14 years before the film's release. Director Robert Rossen crafted Stark as a complex figure who began with noble intentions but gradually embraced the very corruption he once opposed. Broderick Crawford's commanding performance captured this transformation with raw intensity, earning him an Academy Award and cementing the character as one of cinema's most compelling political anti-heroes. What made the film truly foresighted wasn't just its source material, but how accurately it anticipated the mechanics of political scandal. Stark's web of bribery, blackmail, and media manipulation would become thematically linked to real-world controversies decades later. The film's depiction of executive overreach and systematic abuse of power eerily foreshadowed later political crises, such as Watergate, even if the specific tactics differed. Some speculate that Warren's novel, and by extension Rossen's adaptation, tapped into something deeper about American political psychology, the seductive nature of power, and the inevitable corruption that follows unchecked ambition. When All the King's Men claimed Best Picture at the 1950 Academy Awards, critics praised its unflinching examination of democracy's vulnerabilities. The film's central warning continues to echo through every political scandal that follows, proving that some stories are less fiction than prophecy. In 1957, director Elia Kazan unveiled a cinematic warning that Hollywood wasn't prepared to confront. A face in the crowd starred Andy Griffith. Yes, the future Sheriff Andy Taylor, as Lonesome Roads, a charismatic drifter who transforms from small-town entertainer to media titan with alarming ease. At the time, the film's premise was considered provocative and ahead of its era, that mass media could manufacture celebrities who wielded dangerous influence over public opinion. Griffith's performance was nothing short of haunting. His Lonesome Roads begins as a folksy guitar picker discovered in an Arkansas jail, but quickly evolves into a manipulative powerhouse who boasts about his ability to sway elections and control minds. His declaration that he could make audiences believe anything proved disturbingly accurate. This portrayal, now widely studied, essentially outlined the entire playbook for reality television decades before it existed. The film's climactic moment, where a hot microphone exposes Rhodes' true contempt for his adoring fans, reads like a blueprint for modern scandal. His venomous rant about the idiots who worship him mirrors countless real-life incidents where public figures were caught revealing their true thoughts when they believed no one was listening. While some contemporary reviews found the film's view of media influence bleak, Others praised its foresight and Griffith's chilling performance. Over time, the film has been recognized for its forward-looking critique of celebrity culture. The machinery that A Face in the Crowd dissected, the handlers, the image crafting, the manufactured authenticity, became the foundation of modern media manipulation. In 1957, Hollywood released a film that offered a razor-sharp critique of media manipulation, foreshadowing tactics that would later dominate tabloid journalism. Sweet Smell of Success exposed the toxic machinery of gossip reporting with surgical precision, decades before outlets like TMZ turned celebrity scandal into a billion-dollar industry. Burt Lancaster's portrayal of J.J. Hunsaker, a ruthless gossip columnist, drew direct inspiration from Walter Winchell, the real-life media kingmaker who could destroy careers with a single column. Winchell commanded such power that politicians courted his favor and celebrities feared his pen. The film's depiction of Hunsaker wielding similar influence over Broadway and beyond proved chillingly accurate. Rumor has it that Winchell himself attended early screenings, reportedly storming out in outrage at the unflattering portrayal. The movie's biting dialogue crackled with lines like "Match me, Sydney," capturing the transactional nature of fame and media coverage. Director Alexander McKendrick shot the film in Manhattan's shadowy nightclub district, creating a noir atmosphere that mirrored the moral ambiguity of its characters. Initially dismissed by critics as overly bleak, the film's reputation grew as real-world events echoed its themes. From the paparazzi wars of the 70s to the rise of clickbait culture, Sweet Smell of Success proved prophetic. Its cult status only deepened as scandals like Princess Diana's tragic death and the Weinstein revelations underscored its central thesis: unchecked media power can destroy lives. In 1954, Alfred Hitchcock delivered a masterpiece that would prove disturbingly prophetic. Rear Window wasn't just entertainment, it was a crystal ball into humanity's darkest impulses, decades before the world would grapple with digital surveillance and privacy invasions on an unprecedented scale. James Stewart's photographer, confined to his apartment with a broken leg, becomes obsessed with watching his neighbors. What starts as idle curiosity transforms into something far more sinister, a compulsion that mirrors the voyeuristic culture that would later consume society. The film's brilliance lies in how it makes audiences complicit in this violation, drawing them into Stewart's world of unauthorized observation. Hitchcock's technical innovation amplified the psychological impact. The entire apartment complex was constructed as a single massive set, allowing cameras to capture every angle from Stewart's perspective. This design forced viewers to experience the protagonist's confined viewpoint, making them active participants in his ethical transgression. The film's themes would prove eerily accurate when real scandals erupted decades later. The News of the World phone hacking scandal, celebrity stalking, and the rise of social media turned Stewart's binoculars into primitive tools compared to modern surveillance. Today, unauthorized observation is disturbingly commonplace. Some speculate Hitchcock crafted the film as a warning about voyeuristic tendencies. Its enduring popularity suggests these anxieties about surveillance and personal boundaries remain as relevant today as they were 70 years ago. Otto Preminger's 1962 political thriller, Advise and Consent, anticipated the modern machinery of political scandal long before Watergate made such tactics household knowledge. The film centered on a Senate confirmation battle where personal secrets become devastating political weapons, a premise that would prove chillingly accurate in the decades to follow. Based on Alan Drury's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel, the movie dared to tackle subjects Hollywood typically avoided. The plot revolves around a Supreme Court nominee whose confirmation is jeopardized when opponents uncover his past relationship with another man and use it for blackmail. This wasn't just provocative storytelling, it was a glimpse into the future of American politics. The film's ensemble cast, featuring Henry Fonda as a principled senator and Charles Laughton in his final role as a ruthless Southern politician, brought gravitas to scenes of backroom dealing and character assassination. Their performances highlighted how personal vulnerabilities could be weaponized in the halls of power, a theme that would echo through countless real political scandals. What made Advise and Consent particularly bold was its unflinching look at how private lives intersect with public service. The film's depiction of senators trading votes, leveraging secrets, and destroying reputations for political gain would later mirror actual events, notably Watergate, which is referenced more concisely here given its earlier mention. Premiger's decision to address such sensitive issues in mainstream cinema sparked both acclaim and controversy. Some speculate that Washington insiders saw too much of themselves in the film's characters, proving that certain truths about power were too uncomfortable to ignore. Billy Wilder's 1960 masterpiece. The Apartment delivered a comedic gut punch that exposed the rotten core of corporate America, long before real-world scandals would echo its darkest themes. The film's central premise, executives exploiting a subordinate's apartment for secret affairs, wasn't just clever storytelling. It depicted workplace power dynamics that would later resurface in countless revelations about executive misconduct. Jack Lemmon's C.C. Baxter becomes the unwitting enabler, trading his dignity for career advancement while his superiors use his space for extramarital encounters. Shirley MacLaine's elevator operator, Fran Kubelik, represents the emotional fallout, devastated by her affair with a married executive who treats her as disposable. Wilder crafted these characters with precision, dissecting how workplace hierarchies create perfect conditions for exploitation. The film's provocative portrayal of office politics unsettled 1960 audiences, yet it swept 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Its themes proved remarkably prescient when movements like Me Too exposed similar patterns. Powerful men leveraging career opportunities against vulnerable employees, creating cultures of silence and complicity. Some speculate Wilder drew inspiration from the entertainment industry's well-known culture of infidelity and exploitation, though he cited other sources, including a subplot from Brief Encounter and a real news item about an executive using a subordinate's apartment. The Apartment became an unintentional mirror reflecting how corporate power structures enable systemic abuse. Its emotional core, showing how workplace secrets destroy lives, resonated with future revelations about executive misconduct. Wilder's comedy revealed uncomfortable truths about institutional corruption that would surface decades later. Frank Capra's 1939 masterpiece, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, arrived with a political narrative that would later echo through some of America's most notorious government scandals. The film's portrayal of a naive senator confronting institutional corruption wasn't just compelling drama, it became a thematic precursor to real-life whistleblowing and political reckonings. James Stewart's Jefferson Smith embodied the idealistic outsider challenging entrenched power. This archetype would later be reflected in figures like Daniel Ellsberg, who leaked the Pentagon Papers in 1971, and Edward Snowden, whose NSA disclosures in 2013 shook the intelligence community. The film's central conflict, individual conscience versus systemic power, would replay in American political life for decades. Capra's depiction of backroom deals and political manipulation eerily foreshadowed the Watergate scandal more than 30 years later. Senator Payne, controlled by powerful interests, bore a striking resemblance to real politicians exposed during the 1970s. The film's portrayal of media complicity and institutional denial proved uncannily accurate. Washington insiders were not amused. Upon release, several senators criticized the film for undermining public trust, ironically reinforcing Capra's message about defensive institutions. Some believe the backlash stemmed from the film's uncomfortable proximity to real Capitol Hill practices. The climactic filibuster scene became a lasting symbol of resistance. Smith's impassioned stand against corruption inspired generations of activists and whistleblowers to see their actions as patriotic, rather than subversive. The film's enduring relevance reflects persistent concerns about integrity in public office, concerns that history would repeatedly validate. Billy Wilder's 1951 film Ace in the Hole offered a scathing critique of media ethics that would prove disturbingly accurate. Kirk Douglas played Chuck Tatum, a reporter who exploits a man trapped in a cave to revive his career, turning human tragedy into a media spectacle. Tatum's character embodied the darker side of journalism: ambition over integrity, spectacle over substance. This archetype would later appear in real-life scandals like the Jason Blair case at the New York Times in 2003, where fabricated stories were published for personal gain. Wilder's portrayal of media frenzy anticipated the rise of 24-hour news cycles and disaster coverage as entertainment. Audiences initially rejected the film's bleak message, and it flopped at the box office. Paramount even changed its title from The Big Carnival in a failed attempt to boost sales. Critics found it too cynical, but Wilder's background in journalism lent authenticity to his vision. Today, Ace in the Hole is recognized as a prophetic warning about sensationalist media. Its themes resonate in an era of clickbait headlines and viral tragedies, where suffering is often commodified for views and ratings. Gore Vidal's 1964 political thriller The Best Man hit theaters like a political bombshell, foreshadowing the dirty underbelly of American campaigns nearly a decade before the full Watergate scandal erupted. The film's plot eerily anticipated tactics that would later define political warfare: secret recordings, blackmail, and character assassination. Henry Fonda and Cliff Robertson squared off as rival presidential candidates whose personal secrets became weapons in a brutal nomination fight. Vidal, drawing from his own congressional campaign experience, crafted dialogue that felt uncomfortably real to Washington insiders. The script's depiction of backroom deals and moral compromise presented audiences with calculating opportunists rather than idealistic leaders. Released during the heated Johnson-Goldwater election of 1964, the film's timing proved explosive. Critics noted its cynical tone, but later events, referenced earlier in this list, would cast the movie in a prophetic light. The movie's most unsettling element wasn't its portrayal of ambition, but its accuracy in depicting how personal destruction would become a campaign tool. Vidal's characters employed private investigators, leaked damaging information, and manipulated media narratives, tactics that became standard political warfare. Some speculate he had insider knowledge of similar real-world operations already happening behind closed doors. Critics later praised the film's foresight, showing how keen observation of human nature and power's corrupting influence can reveal uncomfortable truths about political reality. Billy Wilder's 1950 masterpiece Sunset Boulevard delivered a chilling examination of Hollywood's darkest truths that would manifest in real-life scandals decades later. The film's razor-sharp dissection of celebrity obsession and the corrosive effects of faded stardom proved unnervingly prophetic. Gloria Swanson's haunting portrayal of Norma Desmond, a forgotten silent film star clinging desperately to relevance, became a template for real-life stories of forgotten icons. Her character's delusional grip on past glory mirrored the struggles of countless performers who couldn't navigate the transition from stardom to obscurity. The film's depiction of predatory relationships and manipulative studio systems reads like an early blueprint for the power dynamics later exposed by movements addressing abuse in the entertainment industry. Wilder's biting satire initially sparked controversy within Hollywood. Some studios feared the film hit too close to home, worried about the uncomfortable truths it revealed about the industry's treatment of aging performers. Rumors persist that certain executives attempted to suppress the film's distribution, though Wilder's reputation ultimately protected the project. The film's haunting final scene, where Desmond descends into complete delusion while cameras roll, became a chilling symbol of what happens when reality and celebrity blur beyond recognition. This moment captured the psychological toll of fame with disturbing accuracy, themes that would resurface in later celebrity mental health crises. Sunset Boulevard endures as a prophetic warning about the dangers lurking behind show business glamour, its insights proving more relevant with each passing decade. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like and comment. Also, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell to get notified of our new videos each week. Thanks for watching.